The Society of the Cincinnati holds a unique place in American history as the nation's first hereditary fraternity and one of its earliest and most controversial organizations. Founded in 1783 by officers of the Continental Army, including General Henry Knox, and supported by George Washington, its aim was to foster fraternity among those who had fought for American independence, preserve the memory of the American Revolution, and ensure mutual assistance among its members. Over time, the Society of the Cincinnati became both a prestigious fraternity and a lightning rod for debates about equality, aristocracy, and the future of the young republic. The origins of the Society of the Cincinnati lie in the desire of American officers to create an enduring bond after the conclusion of the American Revolution. These officers had endured great hardships together, often facing harsh winters, inadequate supplies, and the uncertainty of a protracted war against one of the world's most powerful empires. By 1783, the war was over, the Treaty of Paris was signed, and the Continental Army was about to disband. However, many officers feared that the new nation they had fought for would forget the sacrifices made by its soldiers. Without an organized military system of veterans' benefits or support, there was real concern about the future well-being of those who had served in the war. To address these concerns, General Henry Knox proposed the creation of a society that would preserve the ideals of the Revolution and provide mutual support for its members and their families. The founders believed that the society could continue the sense of unity and shared purpose that had sustained them through the war, while also acting as a bulwark against potential challenges to the fledgling democracy. In choosing a name for their organization, the founders drew inspiration from the Roman statesman Lucius Quinctius Cincinnatus, a figure revered in the 18th century as an embodiment of civic virtue. Cincinnatus famously left his plow to assume dictatorial powers in a time of crisis, only to return to his farm after the danger had passed, rejecting any long-term claim to authority. The founding officers saw in Cincinnatus an ideal reflection of their own service, individuals who had left their civilian lives to take up arms in defense of liberty and would now return to their farms and homes, having fulfilled their duty. The Society of the Cincinnati was deliberately exclusive. Membership was initially limited to officers of the Continental Army and their French counterparts who had served during the war, with no provision for enlisted men. This decision contributed to early criticisms of the society, as it was seen as reinforcing social hierarchies that many revolutionaries had fought to dismantle. What further distinguished the society was its hereditary membership, a feature that sparked intense controversy. The founders decreed that membership would pass to the eldest male descendant of the original member, thus ensuring a continuity of membership across generations. This hereditary aspect raised concerns that the society was establishing an American aristocracy, an institution fundamentally at odds with the egalitarian ideals of the Revolution. Critics, including prominent figures like Thomas Jefferson and Samuel Adams, argued that the society's structure echoed the very forms of European nobility that the Revolution had opposed. These critics feared that the society's influence could grow over time, creating a class of privileged families who would dominate the political and social landscape of the new nation. Jefferson went so far as to write that the Society of the Cincinnati was the germ of anti-republican tendencies, and that its establishment posed a direct threat to the egalitarian fabric of American society. Despite these criticisms, the Society of the Cincinnati persisted and formalized its goals and organizational structure through its constitution, known as the Institution of the Society of the Cincinnati. This document laid out the society's purposes, which included the promotion of friendship among members, the provision of aid to members in need, and the preservation of the memory of the American Revolution. It also enshrined the hereditary principle of membership and outlined the organization's structure. The society was organized into state societies, one for each of the original 13 colonies, as well as a French society to honor the French officers who had fought alongside the Americans. Each state society operated independently, but was united under the national organization known as the General Society. The General Society was led by a President General, and its first president was none other than George Washington, a fitting symbol of the Society's connection to the ideals of the Revolution. The Society's insignia, a gold eagle medallion, became one of its most recognizable symbols, worn proudly by members to signify their participation in the organization. The medallion's design, which included an image of Cincinnatus, the motto "Omnia relinquit servare rem publicam," he relinquished everything to serve the Republic, and symbols of the Revolution, reflected the Society's deep connection to both ancient Republican ideals and the American struggle for independence. From its inception, the Society of Cincinnati was viewed with suspicion by many, particularly in the context of the fiercely democratic and anti-aristocratic sentiments that dominated the early American Republic. The Society's exclusivity, its hereditary membership, and the prominent political roles many of its members held fueled fears that it could become a political aristocracy, a notion antithetical to the ideals of equality and popular sovereignty. One of the Society's early challenges came from the Order of Cincinnatus, a proposed branch of the organization that sought to establish hereditary military titles for members. Although this plan was ultimately scrapped due to fierce public outcry, it reinforced fears that the Society was attempting to elevate its members above ordinary citizens. These concerns led to proposals in the 1780s to ban hereditary societies, though such measures never gained significant traction. In response to the growing public backlash, the Society of Cincinnati took steps to clarify its mission and distance itself from any perception of aristocratic ambitions. It emphasized its charitable work, particularly its efforts to support disabled veterans and the widows and orphans of soldiers killed in the Revolution. However, the suspicion surrounding the Society persisted, and in some states, membership numbers dwindled as officers distanced themselves from the controversy. Despite these controversies, the Society of Cincinnati played an important role in the political and social life of the early American Republic. Many of its members went on to hold significant political offices, and the bonds forged through the Society helped to shape the nation's first political elite. George Washington, for example, maintained close ties with other Society members, and his involvement lent legitimacy to the organization at a time when its future was uncertain. The Society also contributed to the broader development of American civil society. In an era when organized veterans groups and social clubs were still relatively uncommon, the Society of Cincinnati provided a model for future organizations dedicated to preserving historical memory and promoting mutual aid among members. Its combination of civic responsibility, charity, and elite social status helped to shape the emerging American gentry even as it remained controversial. Today, the Society of Cincinnati continues to exist as a hereditary organization. While its role has shifted away from political influence, it remains a respected historical and cultural institution. The Anderson House, its headquarters in Washington, D.C., serves as both a museum and a center for scholarship on the American Revolution. The Society also sponsors educational programs, publishes works on revolutionary history, and promotes the study of early American military history. Though no longer viewed as a potential threat to American democracy, the Society of Cincinnati remains a testament to the complexities of the post-revolutionary period, when questions of equality, meritocracy, and aristocracy were still being fiercely debated. Its continued existence as a living symbol of the Revolution reflects both the enduring legacy of the war and the evolving nature of American society. The Society's motto, its commitment to the memory of the Revolution, and its charitable work remind modern Americans of the sacrifices made to secure the freedoms they enjoy today. The Society of the Cincinnati was much more than just a fraternity of Revolutionary War officers. It was a reflection of the tensions and contradictions inherent in the creation of the American Republic, a nation founded on democratic principles but deeply influenced by hierarchical traditions. The Society's hereditary membership and exclusive nature sparked debates about aristocracy and privilege in the new nation, while its members played an outsized role in shaping the political and social order of the early United States. Despite the controversy, the Society of the Cincinnati remains a symbol of the ideals of the American Revolution and the enduring bonds of those who fought for independence. Its survival through more than 2 centuries of change, its charitable mission, and its promotion of historical memory ensure that it continues to be a vital part of the story of the American Revolution and its aftermath.